about then the connection between sustainable and artistic behavior.
Yeah.
And speak to us a little about that and how that translates really on the ground.
Yeah, that was so interesting when I made that connection. I have been working with some folks here in Germany on a translation of a book called The Creative Company, and that's all about what we can learn from artists in our organizations.
Sure.
And it looks at arts-based initiatives or interventions, and then someone else asked me to speak about sustainable leadership and gave me some context and things. And I looked at this list of sustainable leadership behaviors. And I'm like, hold on here. All of these behaviors are things that we learned from artists from this book that I was just, working on editing and translating. And that was honestly how I made the connection. It's like, it's interesting. I couldn't find anybody that was actually saying the same thing. So of course I questioned my own sanity for making this connection. Until a few months ago, I came across some academics that have written a paper about just that, how sustainable leaders, sustainable leadership can be enhanced and learned through creativity. And they use the example of photography. And they did work around people in their phone cameras because that was easy and accessible, but it's the same idea. It's about creativity. So, and they are.
So it's applying artistic attitudes and practices to the challenges, resulting in a culture of creativity, variety, purpose, autonomy, and elasticity in the norm. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
and being playful and being, reflective about things, and curious, that perceiving, what happened and why did that happen, and what's the feedback loop? Look at the feedback loop.
And surely it breaks down barriers too in the workplace, doesn't it? It gets people talking, and it gets people feeling okay about being vulnerable.
It does. It opens up curiosity and builds trust and all those kinds of things that are so important in our organizations.
Yeah. So how do we then focus less on databases and documents as enablers of knowledge management and more on continuous learning? The future of learning, any place, anytime, anywhere, right across the lifespan. But I would hope with the original, let's say that the base skills laid down, and the people are equipped then to move with equal opportunity through that space.
Yeah. And it's through slowing down, and making space for creativity and for being curious and for doing some of these little activities. And they don't have to be big interventions. I mean, I love my painting activities, don't get me wrong, but they take some time and they're messy and, and all of that. And I appreciate that. But we can do little things that bring some creativity and some space in. Just a 2-minute guided meditation or 3-minute guided meditation at the beginning of a meeting, or a little scribble drawing activity that I do, or, some different quick little drawing activity, or making sculpture or the stuff that you have on your desk. It doesn't have to be big and complicated. I think we have a tendency to make these things bigger and more complicated than they really need to be. And they can be, like I say, I like my painting activities. I like the whole idea of having a studio in the workplace and having that as a place for people to come in and collaborate and do team building stuff and do innovation and come up with new solutions. But it doesn't have to be like that. You can do it in small ways too. And the small ways are often a good way to get started.